Hello, Spectrum. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jordan. Welcome to the premiere production of Noise News.
Pact is Spectrum's biggest rival. In all of Sting history, the boys basketball team has never beaten the Pact Panthers. Until 2 weeks ago, the boys won 55-48. Let's take it over to the real OGs, Jordan and Max, for an exclusive update.
2 weeks ago, the Spectrum basketball team beat the Pact Panthers for the first time in Sting history. The boys face the Panthers again in about 3 weeks. Let's recap the game and see how they are getting hyped up for the next Sting versus Pact face-off.
The game went pretty well. We played good as a team, and we just kept on fighting. We were down for a little bit, but we came back and we won, so it was great.
So I've been listening to really loud music because I want to be deaf, so I won't be able to hear the trash talk.
I've been sitting in a room by myself, just thinking about the game in a dark room by myself.
By himself. So we just feel like coach the game.
Where have we been? Okay, ready?
The first half ended at 25-22 with Pact having a 3-point lead over the Sting. But as the second half started, the boys were pumped up and ready to win. The second half was a constant battle for the lead with usually only a 2-point difference. The rivalry between Pact and Spectrum has been going strong for years and will keep existing for years to come. The next game against Pact in January will definitely be a big event, so be sure to come and witness another Sting win. This has been Max and Jordan from Noise News, signing off.
That was a close game, Zach.
was
Made me a
pretty
little nervous.
It was pretty great.
With all of the talents at our school, there are sometimes too many to keep up with. This week, Ryan and Jasmine wanted to shine the spotlight on Anna McGlone and her musical ambitions.
There are many unique talents here at Spectrum High School. From athletes, student scholars, and musicians, Ryan Pribno and myself, Jasmine Olsen, took an inside look at the musical journey of Anna McGlone.
Oh gosh, I was probably singing in my mom's stomach. That's how long it's been.
What's a day in the studio like?
Oh gosh, that can vary a lot depending on where you are. But I'd have to say it's a lot of takes. You need a lot of water because your voice gets tired. And it takes a lot of patience too because there's so many fine-tuned things you don't mess with technology. It's like positive reinforcement. They help me out financially, like paying for lessons and stuff. They drive me a lot of places, or at least they did more when I didn't have my license. And, just overall being there for me because it can be stressful. He's on Facebook, a musician, not my personal one, obviously. And on Instagram, it's at Anna Elise Official, and it might be subject to change. Stuff, but yeah, that's what it is right now. My YouTube channel is also called Anna Elise, and that's linked to my Facebook, and my Facebook and Instagram are linked to my YouTube.
Anna has gotten so much positive feedback on Instagram, Facebook, and from her friends and family. Be on the lookout for Anna and her musical career. She is rising and becoming more and more talented each day.
This has been Ryan.
And Jasmine Nelson.
Signing off for Noise News.
Well, that was pretty good. I didn't know she could do that.
Yeah, she's like a really good singer.
Huh.
Many dogs are left homeless and neglected. Holly and Parker G bring you a story on a certain family that has taken major steps to help those dogs.
When you see a dog in the shelter, what do you see? Some might see a dog with no hope of a home, but Lydia and her mom see a dog with a chance to have a family.
Right now we have Mandrake, who is a chocolate lab with some sort of hound mix. We're thinking a bloodhound. He's adorable, if you haven't seen. We also have Molly, who is next to me here, actually. She is a Greyhound Weimaraner mix. She's adorable, but very skittish, and she likes to lick a lot.
They volunteered at No Dog Left Behind, which is a rescue organization that is 100% volunteer-based. No Dog Left Behind covers the vet bills and the cost of the dog.
I'm not quite sure exactly what I've learned. I've learned that can be really horrible. I guess you could say that. Some of the dogs we get, it's really sad. Some of the stories, for instance, like even the dog we own, who we're not fostering, Luna, came from a puppy mill down south, and she wasn't even 2 years old, and she had already had multiple litters of puppies. So just things like that, it really kind of opens your eyes to the world. I guess you could say that. So
What they are doing is very important because they are accepting bigger dogs into their home. Bigger dogs have a harder time finding homes that are willing and able to take care of them than smaller dogs, and the stories the dogs came with are shocking.
So definitely one of the positives, as most people will tell you, is you get to see a dog come in, maybe they're not in the best of the shape. For instance, Mandrake, dog we have, was super skinny, and Molly is still really skittish, but you get to see them transform in a way that you don't often get to see. So that's really, really nice to be able to see that. And so then once they're finally transformed, you get them adopted and you get to see them be happy. So that's really nice. You can see behind me, but we've kind of had to make some sacrifices with our house. We have leather furniture, but we've ended up covering all of it. We also have quite a few doggy beds laying around the house. Towels, a dish bowl with a waterproof thing underneath, because otherwise they like to knock water everywhere. Other than that, I mean, I don't think there's any negatives really. You get a dog, and even though they're not with you for a long time, it's really nice to have a companion.
Lydia and her mom have accepted a total of 5 dogs into their home. We can really learn from their kindness and their strive to help dogs in need. Holly and Parker G. signing
Dogs are seriously like one of my favorite things.
Really?
Yeah.
One of your favorite.
One of my favorite. Coming up here is December 18th, the opening day of the new Star Wars movie. Only this time, Disney owns Star Wars. And what their adaptation of it is still a mystery. We're going to Max and Emma with more on this subject.
December 18th, an important date for Star Wars fans. That's the day where the new Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, comes out to theaters in the U.S. Whether fans are hyped about it or just want to see it to point out all the flaws, you can still easily predict that this movie is going to blow up the box office. Since the last movie, Lucasfilm was bought by Disney for $4 billion.
Disney's a corporation, they can farm it out to get new perspectives, so it won't be as linear as George Lucas had initially imagined. I mean, it is time to move on, and he realizes that. Disney is a great corporation. They are ruthless in their attention to detail, and they give the people what they want, and that's what they're known for.
I think Disney is going to spread the authority out a little bit more, and so they're going to make some better decisions, like they were making at the beginning.
Whether Disney taking over Lucasfilm will change the upcoming Star Wars movies altogether is still unknown. But one thing that won't change are the characters that everyone has come to know and love.
That's easily R2-D2, because he's hardworking, he's polite, he's always cheerful, and you could argue that he's the most important fictional character in Western civilization.
Really, my favorite character has always been Han Solo. His kind of sardonic wit always reminded me of Spider-Man in a way, which was my first favorite character way back, last century.
From the hype that we've been hearing about, it's safe to assume that the midnight screening of this movie is going to be packed. Whether you watch it or not, you're bound to talk about it sometime in your day. This has been Max Hoyt and Emma Gallagher from Noise News, signing off.
I can't wait to see that movie.
I already have my ticket.
Oh, wow. I'm getting ahead of it. Breakfast, the most important meal of the day, right? And everybody knows that some of the best breakfast foods are pancakes and waffles, which are pretty similar. But the question is, which one is better? Lillian and Emma will be expanding on this topic.
Hey, Jackson, waffles or pancakes?
Waffles, because they got those little dippy things in there, and you can put stuff in that, like bananas or apples.
Say bananas again.
Bananas.
What? What's your favorite brand of maple syrup? Or do you have no preference?
Oh, I have a preference. That Aunt Jemima stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, baby, that hit right in my tummy, you know what I'm saying?
Waffles or pancakes? Look at me like that.
Waffles, if they're the Belgian kind. J. Marsh makes good Belgian waffles.
Pancakes.
Why?
Because you can, put syrup, smiley faces on it.
But you can do that with waffles, too. You can fill in each individual square and then make, yes, it's like, what do you mean?
Because it's all boxy and just doesn't work.
But the syrup eventually slides off of the pancake or absorbs into it, and then you can't see it.
Pancakes.
Obviously waffles. Pancakes are disgusting, and I make delicious waffles.
What kind?
Belgian waffles in my big Belgian waffle maker. I'm amazing at it.
Waffles.
Waffles? Why?
Well, you see, I like waffles because you can put different like toppings in each little hole. Pancakes, you got one thing on there and it spreads. Like waffles, you could be like, oh, a little bit of syrup. You could even put a peanut in one of those.
A peanut. Waffles or pancakes?
I think I'm gonna have to go with pancakes. Those are probably my favorite.
What's your favorite topping on a pancake?
Chocolate chips.
Yes! Okay. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Hello, testing. My name is Lillian Atchison, and I like pancakes with chocolate chips on them. And I'm interviewing myself.
See, I'd go with waffles because it's more of a texture thing at that point. I mean, sure, it's made out of the same batter, but with waffles, it's like you get these like little crevices and little indents in the waffle, and then you get that's where you find these pockets of just pure joy and love. It's beautiful.
Sorry. Waffles or pancakes? But don't answer yet. Are we good? Okay, anyway, you can answer now. Waffles or pancakes? Brendan Shibley.
Pancakes all the way. Have you had McDonald's hotcakes?
I haven't. Are they good?
They're really, really good.
Waffles or pancakes?
Waffles. Because you can fill them up with the syrup and the little tiny dimple things, and you can't do that with pancakes.
Also, besides dogs, one of my favorite things is food.
I love waffles, but hate pancakes, like with a passion. I know. Now time for a special segment with Zach and Anthony. People in our community and around the world suffer from the mental illness labeled as depression. Let's take some time to step back and learn how our school is affected.
Unbeknownst to most people, there's a taboo here in the Spectrum population. People who are struggling with inner depression. We are going into this special edition story head first.
So in the state of Minnesota, between ages 12 to 17, approximately 8% of adolescents will have a major depressive episode, and that's versus in the U.S. about 9.9%. So I would say that Spectrum High School is, probably representative of our community and, around in that area.
While we couldn't interview a student, we were able to interview 2 staff members. They agree this needs to stop.
Yeah, well, last school year I ended up losing my brother to mental illness and depression, and it was a very difficult thing for our family to go through. My brother made things difficult sometimes for himself, so he wasn't always able to help himself out, and it seemed like he just wore on himself, and so last September he ended up not making it, and then 10 months later, one of my best friends, his brother went through a similar situation, and so within 10 months, one of my best friends and me, go through each other's brothers passing, and it was just a huge awakening to me that this has to stop. This really does have to stop, and this mental illness needs to be made aware, and people need to know that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay. I mean, everyone has feelings, but if you're sad or you're frustrated and you don't express those and you keep those inside, it can eat at you.
I think that's part of our culture, and unfortunately, in the United States, our culture has really shifted towards a lot of expecting perfection, and I'm glad to see that there has been efforts in the media and social media to try to change this so that people are more willing to talk about it.
Life is a roller coaster, and my brother rode it up and down, up and down, up and down, and the hard parts are, I think, is that when he was down, he wouldn't talk to me about it. He might have talked to my mom a little bit. He was talking to her more about it towards the end, but as far as throughout life, it was just never something that he would express. And so
Next, we talked to Miss Algard. She works at the 6th grade center. and she will share about how her depression has affected her life.
My story actually starts in high school. I didn't know it at the time, but I was showing signs of anxiety. I had a cousin in my class, and he went to the counselor and said, she's being weird and doing things that are not like her. And it wasn't anything dangerous, but I wasn't myself. So the counselor brought me in and we talked, and it was more of what they called anxiety. Oh, you're just nervous. It's your senior year, going to college, all this stuff. So they didn't really say it was depression. Fast forward to my junior year and senior year of college, and my depression was based in anxiety. So I worry to the point of wanting to shut down, because worry about the grades. What am I going to do after college? I've got to work. I need money. Things like that. So I went to a counselor, talked to him on campus. Great. Everything was going great. Senior year of college, all of a sudden things were starting to snowball, and I wasn't a person who withdrew. I wasn't a person who started to do self-hurting things. I was a person who's in my head I started to just think about, this could be done. I wouldn't have to worry about it. And I didn't talk to anybody about it. And I was still seeing a counselor, but I was hiding that from my counselor. That I was thinking of, I wouldn't have to do all this. I wouldn't have to worry. Nobody would miss me. Things like that. So within about 2 weeks, I had some meds to help me sleep. I had some meds I took an antidepressant, and I can't remember, there was 3 of them. I got them from the college pharmacist because I'm a doctor. It was just 3 different things. I wasn't showing suicide or suicidal thoughts or actions. So I had all those up, and I'm not a person who drinks alcohol. And I went and bought alcohol, which my roommates just didn't even realize it because I had it hidden. And so one night, both of them were gone, and I said, okay, this is the night. So it was quick. I didn't write a note. I was actually going to do it in the bathtub so my roommates wouldn't have to clean up my mess. So I had started drinking, and I was going to drink some and then take some and then drink, and my roommate came home. And she knows I don't drink, and she saw the alcohol on the kitchen counter, and she's like, what are you doing? Oh, I just wanted to, whatever. Well, she could feel like I was trying to get her out of the apartment. And her boyfriend was there too, who I also knew. And they wouldn't leave because they knew something was up, and finally said, Julie, what's going on? And then I showed them the pills, and they went, what? Started, what are you thinking? And all mad at me. And so they wouldn't leave me alone. They ended up bringing me to the emergency room, even though I hadn't taken anything. And I didn't get admitted to the psych ward. Because I hadn't taken anything, and because I was under the care of a counselor, they put me in a safe house. So I went to a safe house, and what that means is you go in, they check everything on you. They took my shampoo, make sure it wasn't alcohol. They took all my medications, so they would give it to me. There was nothing on the blinds, so I could everything in the room, so I always had somebody with me for the most part, except for going to the bathroom, but they would time you. So I spent 3 days in a safe house while I went and saw a counselor more. And then they said, well, we think you're okay. You can go back to your apartment.
The National Institute of Mental Health defines depression as when your sadness interferes with daily life and causes pain for both you and those who care about you. Sometimes you need to cry to feel better.
Question. I can tell you, I didn't learn to cry until my mid-20s. You know, it's hard to do. It's hard to let go. You know, a lot of people probably water up, but they hold it in. They don't let it go. It is probably more difficult for guys to express those type of feelings. But again, like I said, it's okay to cry. I probably cry a couple times a week now, just because I know how to. And I can tell anybody that doesn't do it, after you cry. I also had a friend take his life when I was 18 or 19 in community college, and it was the first time I cried in probably 10 years since I was a little kid. And you feel so much better after you cry. It is a euphoric state of joy. I mean, we need to have feelings, and the feelings that we have, we need to express, because otherwise it plays on your brain. Say, oh, it's not okay to cry. It's not okay to be sad. It's not okay for this. That's not good.
The person who's depressed feels like there's something wrong with them, like it's something to be shamed about, and it shouldn't be that way, because if you think about it, all of us get depressed at one point, whether we lose a loved one or something happens in the family or anything like that, or somebody's sick. We all get depressed. It's just a matter of, are we able to be resilient and bounce back from those things.
Major depression interferes with working, sleeping, studying, eating, and enjoying life. It occurs once, but commonly it can occur up to 7 times.
Learn to live with it, learn to deal with it, and made it through. I graduated from college, did my nanny work, I did my preschool work, I did my back to school work, and I haven't had any, what they would say, severe relapses.
The healthiest thing teens can do to help themselves get over depression or to work through the depression, I think a planner is ideal. Put those things that you need to do first. What are the priorities? Sometimes there's those things that we have no control over, and you need to just let those go, let it be, and move on from it.
Like we covered, this is a taboo. People don't talk about this, and we need to become more aware about it.
It hides. It can hide, and you may not even know it. As you were saying, people keep it hush-hush. And so I think more also trying to identify it when people don't talk about it is important. So if you notice someone's not taking care of themselves, if you notice they're not bathing regularly, if you notice they stop playing a sport that they loved, if you notice that they stop playing an instrument that they loved, that is a big sign of if they're not taking care of themselves, that's a problem.
Things that you might notice different with teens are, instead of coming across as being really sad and down, they may present more as being very irritable or angry.
The most important thing is that it is a mental illness. People get better, and people get over illnesses. Depression is just a sickness of the mind. It is not forever. They have on their mind.
Talk to somebody. And everybody says, oh, go to an adult. Sometimes just talking with your friend releases it. Just remember that somebody cares and they want to help you. So let somebody know, and they'll help you find somebody.
A great phrase that I was given, if they want to be by themselves, just promise me I'll see you tomorrow.
I just want people to know that there is a way out.
If you are suffering from depression and would like to talk to someone, the guidance counselors are available during school hours and would love to talk with you. Please call the number on the screen if you would like a 24-hour helpline. This is Zach Clark and Anthony Kath for Noise News, signing off. Okay. Well, this has been Noise News, keeping you in on the noise.
Woo, go News.
Well, this has been Noise News, keeping you in on the noise. We need to do that again.